The prince who gave up his throne. Siddhartha Gautama was one of the greatest teachers the world has ever known. He lived about 2500 years ago and still continues to inspire millions with his message of love, peace, and humility the world over. He is an example of a king who completely changed his life to that of a holy man. There were many signs that a miracle had occurred when Siddhartha Gautama was born. It is said that the heavens above glowed with glorious light, the stars blazed in the firmament, and the moon bathed the earth with its light. Throughout the world, musical instruments struck up songs of praise through untouched by human hands, and cascades of flowers showered down to earth from the heavens. Siddhartha Gautama's mother, the beautiful Maya, died within a week of his birth, and he was brought up in the loving care of Gautami, his stepmother. Within days of the prince's birth, his father, Sudhona, ruler of small kingdom called Kapilvastu near Nepal, summoned wise men who came from far and near to see and bless the little one. He has the marks of greatness, they cried, and will one day rule the world. However, should he encounter any human sufferings, he will turn his back on the world and become the Buddha, the enlightened one. King Sudhona immediately determined that his precious son should be sheltered from all human suffering and made sure that the boy never went anywhere beyond the palace gates. Gautam grew into a youth of perfect beauty and superhuman strength. As a prince, he was given the best of food to eat, the richest clothes to wear, and different palaces to live in. He was taught by the best teachers inside the palace and proved to be clever and intelligent. He also learned to swim, shoot, and ride. According to the king's orders, whenever he went out riding around the huge palace grounds, he was preceded by soldiers who cleared the roadway of any sights that might disturb the peace of mind of the young prince. Gautam was extremely caring and full of concern for his fellow beings. He loved animals and birds. Once, while playing in the royal gardens, his cousin shot and wounded a beautiful white swan. Gautam tenderly nursed it back to health. Now his cousin claimed the swan for his own by huntsman rights. I shot it. The swan is mine. Dear Gautam, return it to me. Gautam, fearing for the swan, refused to give it to him. You shot it. It could have died. I nursed it back to life. I will not give it back, dear cousin. A royal meeting was summoned, and Gautam argued his case so well and so wisely that the judges left the swan to his tender and merciful care. When Siddhartha Gautama was 19, his father arranged his marriage with Yashodhara, a beautiful princess. He won her heart with a show of superhuman strength. He shot an arrow with such force that it pierced 6 trees standing in a row and came to rest in the seventh one. After some time, a son was born to them, and they named him Rahul. But it seemed that the gods were equally determined that Gautam should become aware of the world as it is actually was, a world full of human suffering outside the palace grounds. One day, while riding his chariot with his charioteer, China, he happened to see some distance away a man bent and twisted with age. Before China could do anything, the prince stopped her chariot and got down from it. He had never seen an old man. Who is he? Gautam asked China. He is a man, he replied, not knowing what to say. I am a man and I'm not like him. You will be when you get old, but leave him, let us return, said the charioteer. Gautam kept on thinking this was the first time he had seen an old man. On another trip, Gautam saw a man racked with illness, his body covered with sores. The body not only gets old, it gets sick too, he thought to himself. On a third trip to the city, Gautam saw a dead body being taken to the burning ghat. Is there nothing that lasts forever? He asked China. Everything must die, sighed the man. Finally, while out riding, he saw a monk, dressed in rags, his head shaven, and begging wool in his hands. And yet the man's face shone with a light such as the prince. For all the joy of his life, I never know. He is a man who has given up everything in the world, explained China. Strange, how content he looks, in spite of having nothing but his begging bowl. Gautama once again was lost in thought. It seems as if the gods had arranged all these sights, old age, sickness, and death, to show the young prince that the man is born to suffer. The terrible sights he had seen affected Gautam deeply. He thought about them day and night. At last, one night, he decided to leave the palace and go out into the world in search of truth. In the dead of night, he whispered a silent farewell to his beloved father, his wife, and little Rahul, and walked out past the palace. China rode the young prince across the palace grounds and outside their gates for the last time. At the edge of a deep forest, Gautam dismounted, bade his weeping servant farewell, changed from his princely robes into the rags of a monk, and set off to seek the truth. He was 29 years old at that time. Word meaning: affected means influenced, bathe means said farewell, cascades means poured downwards quickly in large quantity, content means satisfied. Monk means a religious man living under walls of poverty, pierced, made a hole with a sharp object, went through. Preceded means went before. Ragged means in a terrible condition due to illness. Thank you guys for watching this amazing means reading with me this amazing story of the prince who gave up his throne. That is about Siddhartha Gautam. So please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for 24 subscribers. You should enjoy little things.